Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years. And one thing I've found is that people who like comic books like looking at other people's comic books over the internet. So I'm going through my collection to show it off a bit. We're doing one box at a time. Today we're doing box number 5 that came out of that hole right there. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I can remember about each one. And I've got on my Batman shirt, so let's roll. All right, we're trying a new technique for presentation. I'm, as they say, a baller on a budget, so we're trying to find the best way to use stuff we have at hand. But anyway, we start with this series, Aero, from a few years ago, kind of a anime version, superhero thing. I think Marvel made some deals with China. Some new characters were created. I didn't actually make it all the way through this one. I've got several of them, but we got Aero 1 through Aero 4, featuring Wave, who was another one of those new characters. This is also a short box, shorter number of pieces in this box. Got Aero again with Wave. Aero dealing with an ice creature of some sort. Aero number 5. And then we've got, what? Did someone unlock Aero's secret power? You know, if you're into this sort of thing, I mean, it's beautiful art. It's great stuff. Very, very pretty. Then we jump to A-Force, which was kind of an all-female team set up during the Second Secret Wars, and that would kind of, in a moment we'll see, we'll also have more of a normal day kind of version. But yeah, it's basically every female superhero in the Marvel Universe appearing there, and they we even got Spider-Gwen. We've got them dealing with looks like some of the Marvel zombies there. Keeping things going there. Then we jump to the first issue of the actual ongoing A4 series, and I say ongoing, it lasted about a few issues, and introduced a character I believe called Singularity that we haven't seen since, but she's out there somewhere. So that's a thing, and we've got an interesting look to Dazzler there. Haven't really seen that since. But it's always interesting to see all these characters from different parts of the Marvel Universe come together. You've got Nico from the Runaways, who, you know, within Runaways didn't seem like that much of a team, you know, somebody that would be joining Avengers teams and things like that. But, you know, hey, it's comics. And that extended all the way through the A-Force number 10, which came out during the Civil War II. Civil War II was a time when an Inhuman was discovered who could predict the future, and the ethical question became, could you arrest people for things they haven't done yet? Sort of I believe the Minority Report theme from the movies. So cool stuff there. Got a little bathing suit action for the A-Force ladies. Very good. And we jump around to Agent Liberty. Agent Liberty was a character appearing in sort of 90s Superman. He was another patriotic hero, and he took part in several Superman-oriented storylines over there. Part of this was drawn by Jackson Geis, who, as of recording, recently passed away. Rest in peace, Jackson Geis. Here we have a popular item among the Bronze and Modern Gods fans. If you're a fan of that channel, we've got the Agents of Atlas series. This takes some characters who existed in 1950s Marvel, both some of it literally in terms of being published at the time, and puts them together as a team Jimmy Woo is a SHIELD agent that manages what they do. You saw a version of Jimmy Woo in WandaVision, and so this is another edition of his team. You've got Gorilla Man, you've got the Uranian, you've got Venus, the human robot, and then over here we've got the final issue of this miniseries. Again with the human robot. I'm drawing a blank on. He's got another, M42 or something like that. I forget his. John Hughes helped me with that. But we got that. Then we've got the next Agents of Atlas series that came out during the Dark Reign period of time at Marvel. Some great Arthur Adams art there. We've got Namora on the team, showing up on the team here. Great stuff, beautiful cover, and that extends to this little arc here that was the Terror of the Jade Claw with Jimmy Woo and more robots. And one of the things they dealt with or had to deal with here is that one of the main foes of Jimmy Woo originally was the Yellow Claw, who was a very stereotypical Chinese villain, and so they kind of have to dance around that a little bit in modern comics, in the same way that with Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, his original, his father was Fu Manchu, and Fu Manchu isn't even owned by Marvel, so they can't really use him. So there's a lot of dancing around on that. We've got Agents of Atlas, the next series. This is a popular key. This takes a different angle on it. Instead of it being those 1950s heroes, we've got basically all of the Asian heroes coming together as one team. You've got Brawn, you've got Luna Fox, you've got several of the, not Luna Fox, but Luna Snow, and there's Wave from the previous mention. We got Shang-Chi, we got Silk, we've got all kinds of folks in there, and it's so the angle on this is, again, an Asian team, Southeast Asian team, and the everybody's kind of specking on this a lot of times because they feel like some of these characters that haven't already shown up in Marvel movies will show up at some point. And then we have the final issue of that here. Everybody's fighting a big dragon. That dragon has shown up several times as part of the Agents of Atlas lore. It's Jimmy Woo kind of answers to that dragon, or the dragon is an advisor to Jimmy Woo as he controls his late father's sort of major underground crime organization, and he tries to turn it into something good. Next we've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So this was inspired by the hit TV series, and what this tried to do was sort of cash in on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show by taking the comic book versions of the characters that the TV show was using and bringing them together and forming a team with them. So you have a Deathlock, you've got Mockingbird, you've got Coulson, you've got a version of the Cavalry, that kind of thing, and so they are banded together to do good things, and that extends all the way to that ended with issue 10. We had Elektra showing up on the team there for a brief time, and dealing with some stuff there. Then we jump to, now we're into Age of, as a category, alphabetically speaking. This was, so the original Age of Apocalypse was an alternate present wherein Legion, who is the son of Charles Xavier, had traveled back in time and accidentally killed Charles Xavier. And so the premise was that the present was going to be very, very different and very, very bad because Charles Xavier wasn't around to make things better. What winds up happening is, it so often does, is even though that sort of all got resolved, is no matter, never to, anytime the present gets majorly changed, there's always going to be a new dimension or some parallel universe created where it's still that way, so that we can revisit it conveniently without disrupting the main books and moving forward. So this is taking place in that alternate universe where things are still the way they were in the Age of Apocalypse. And we've got alternate Wolverine, seen briefly in Deadpool and Wolverine. A very scantily clad Jean Grey there, I believe. So lots of that going on. We have, from this one, we've got a character, I think Jean Grey loses her powers, and so she has to weapon up, if I remember correctly, and got that going on. We go to issue 6 with their version of Colossus fighting their version of Cyclops. Not getting along. Different people are on different sides in that world. Some people are on the good guys are bad guys are good guys, that kind of thing. And that culminates or that doesn't culminate, but it finished, this arc or continues into issue 10. Their version of Wolverine, getting into it with Sabretooth and Jean Grey, which continues into issue 11, which features apparently the final battle. One of the traits of this universe is Wolverine is completely missing one of his hands. So if you ever see a Wolverine without a hand, that's what they're referencing. And then we get to this issue number 14. This was a crossover. It was between the characters from Age of Apocalypse, and there was an Exiles book, I believe, going on, and then one of the X-Men teams, I think maybe an X-Factor or something like that, getting together and having a multiversal sort of adventure. So then we get to the next flavor of Age of Apocalypse. This is from the Secret Wars period of time. During Secret Wars, they did a lot of different little mini-series that all, at the very least, had the same title as something from Marvel history, some major arc, even if they didn't always sort of match up on story. And so this was I think this might have been a little bit more directly dealing with the character Apocalypse, and maybe the characters are fighting him. Let's maybe issue 4 or 5 here will remind me of that. Yeah, well, that seems to be, yes, that seems to be Sinister, or it looks like Sinister actually with the white skin, but I think that's supposed to be Apocalypse, and he is looking like he's fixing to whoop some butt. So then we go to this little one-shot, Age of Apocalypse, The Chosen. I think this is a series of little, almost like trading card looking things that just explain who all the characters are, that kind of thing. Go to Age of Heroes. This was a series of little vignettes, kind of another just, hey, Marvel kind of restart, not changing continuity or anything, but just giving everybody a flavor of, hey, it's the heroic age now, so give us a try. And we've got little vignettes of a lot of their various heroes, some of them with different new status quos. We've got Bucky as Captain America there. I know I can recognize that. Some things like that. And that goes from issue 1 through issue 4. We've got Shuri as Black Panther, dealing with some sort of issue relating to when Captain America was frozen on ice, it looks like. Then we go to Age of Innocence, the rebirth of Iron Man. I'll be honest, don't remember what's going on there. This looks to be from before the somewhere in the late 90s or early 90s. So this might be when he came back from the Heroes Reborn world, and was this may have been between that and Heroes Return, kind of just giving a little background on that. I'm gonna check the back real quick. Nope, that doesn't help at all. Okay, something like that. We have Age of Ultron, big crossover. Was the namesake for the movie, the second Avengers movie. Ultron just becomes a lot more powerful and kind of takes over the world, as it were. We've got all the superheroes. Red Hulk's there, fighting the minions of Ultron going on. Replicated himself quite a bit. Continues into the Age of Ultron number. This was the period where they would kind of hide the issue number. Sometimes you got to check the indicia. If you don't know, on modern books, if it's got a little barcode with 5 numbers here, the first 3 numbers will indicate the issue number if you just absolutely can't find it anywhere else. So 007 tells me that that is issue 7. We've got some Star-Lord. We've got some grizzled Captain America. So I think that the Age of Ultron, as I recall, involved things continuing on into the future with Ultron in power, and then there's some time travel to go back to the future, to present, Terminator style, kind of reverse. The humans go back in time to stop the robots. No, wait, that is what happened in Terminator. Anyway, and then this weird special issue at the end. So there was issue 10, and then there's 10 AI, and I don't know why that is, but it's written by Mark Waid, and so I'm not going to complain. And there we've got, I believe that's Hank Pym, Giant Man there, dealing with some stuff. Of course, he's the creator in the comics of Ultron, so he would have a special relationship with this Age of Ultron. Then we jump to, this was, funnily enough, I remember this was not that long after Age of Ultron. We had the Secret Wars crossovers, and so they did these Battle World books with different worlds within Marvel coming together, fighting each other. So you had the entirely Ultron-oriented universe fighting the zombie universe, Marvel Zombies. I'm not a big Marvel Zombies fan. I've got a few of those. But that's what's going on here, and it looks like we've got some regular classic Marvel heroes, Wonder Man, Vision. Looks like Jarvis. Good for Jarvis, getting involved in some of that, just getting in the middle of all that. Then we go to, so if you when you get to Age of X, you've got Age of X and you've got Age of X-Man, and I can never quite make up my mind how to organize that. So this might be a little bit, your mileage may vary on this, but this, whatever, I'm gonna pull out what I've got as it is right now. So we've got Age of X Alpha. The Age of X was another sort of alternate present where things are different. Then we've got Age of X-Man Alpha, which is another X-Men situation where things are different. So if you want X-Men but different, try anything with Age of X or Age of X-Man. So Age of X-Man had these crossovers, these miniseries, rather, that had featured the characters in their different looks, and I believe Age of X-Men was another one of those. The mutants are all popular and in charge. It's not necessarily a horrible world, although it may not be that great for humans. So in here, Nightcrawler got to be the sort of, just continued to be the showman that he always wanted to be. We've got issue 1 through issue 5. Clearly something didn't work out for that. Then we go to, let's see, Apocalypse and the Extracts, number 1. Again, putting together. The other nice, fun thing about these is that it puts together some X-Men who wouldn't necessarily, or hadn't necessarily gotten together as a team on other books, because, you know, the butterfly effect assumes that they would have distributed themselves differently. So we've got Apocalypse and the Extracts 1. They're groovy. They seem to be a little hippified there. Oh, but there's nothing hippie about Apocalypse here at the end. He's tearing off his clothes. He's so mad. He's just upset about some stuff. It's pretty hard. We've got more Age of X-Men, next gen. Some of the newer mutants there. We've got a Noli, or a Knoll, I don't know how you say that. Got Rock Slide, the one that travels through time. We've got Prodigy. I'm trying to see how many I can recommend. Shark Girl back there. Oh, of course, Glob. So they've got lots going on. The younger mutants there doing things, and that culminates with them. So in the first issue, they were all going that way, and in the last issue, they're all going this way. I'm pretty sure there's some other things that happen. There's Martha. I'm pretty sure there's some things that happen in between them traveling in those two directions. We've got, alphabetically speaking, now we're at Age of X-Men Omega. This would have been the, of course, end of that, and brought it to the end. X-Man is, of course, Nate Gray, who is a version of Cable, who instead of growing up being sent to the future as he was created and raised in the Age of Apocalypse, which we just saw a little while ago. So and so when he found himself in the regular 616 universe, and calls himself X-Man. And so this whole, I think, storyline around this alternate world is him being able to create a world for the mutants again to live in, where things are better and different and happier for them. Then we get to Age of X-Men, Prisoner X. There are some mutants who are not happy with the new status quo. I think they remember how things used to be, and so they have to get locked up. So we've got Beast, we've got Lorna Dane, we've got Bishop, a couple others there, Psylocke, and they wind up having a direct battle with Legion, who is the other guy who keeps creating alternate worlds for the world for the mutants to live in. So kind of ironic there that they're dealing with him, and he seems to be one of the prisoners. So I would think that one world creating guy is putting the other world creating guy under wraps, but he seems to be getting the upper hand there. We've got Age of X-Men, Marvelous X-Men. I think, if I recall, in this one, Magneto is the guy running the sort of public, regular, taking care of the world team of X-Men. And you got Eugene Gray, you've got a Kitty Pryde. I'm sorry, I think it is. I don't know if that's Kitty Pryde, but I know she's got claws, but I thought I remembered that as Kitty Pryde, but I guess that's still Laura, the clone of Wolverine. We've got an armless Colossus, so If Colossus is missing a hand, it's Age of X-Men. If Wolverine is missing a hand, it's Age of Apocalypse. Just a little mnemonic there for you. Then we go to the finality of that. We've got Professor Xavier's back. We've got the team. Got a reflection on what the original team looked like. Looks like that kind of is spotlighting the fact. I think it was I may have given a spoiler. I think it was a mystery how they got here, and it's not until, you know, you start to find out that X-Man there is the one that is causing all the problems. You find that out later. Then we go to Age of X-Men Extremists. They were sort of the X-Factory kind of team. They are the ones that we've got a Psylocke there. We've got, that must not have been Psylocke before, and of course Blob, and Iceman, and they are always watching. So they're more the direct sneaky team. And then we have issue 5 of that Extremists miniseries there. Then we kind of jump back to Age of X, which was again a different alternate universe. And the goal here, this was kind of weird because this was showing, so everything had changed for the X-Men. So what did it look like for the rest of the world, given that things were different for the X-Men? And this was attempting to show how then the things that were different for the X-Men would have affected the other heroes. I believe it's a 2-issue series. We got number 1, and we've got number 2. Some pretty art there. The heroes going up against each other. So that gets us out of Age of. We're gonna have a little random stuff here. We've got just the first issue of Airman. I like me some winged heroes. I don't know, and of course I just like superheroes in general, and so I'll get a book that has the superheroes in it, even if I don't know how much about the quality of the writing or the art. But yeah, Airman from Malibu. Didn't really go far. I only have the 1 issue of that. We have the fairly recent Alan Scott Green Lantern miniseries featuring him during World War II, during the dawn of DC period at DC, and he winds up in dealing with the new Red Lantern creation. That you know, one of those, he's always been around, we just didn't know it, and he's sort of the red parallel to the green Alan Scott Green Lantern. We've got 1 issue of Alien Worlds, number 7. This is the issue that has a short story in it by George Perez, so that's why I made sure it was in my collection. And it's but Alien Worlds is an anthology series of science fiction stories of various kinds. I happen to have number 7. We've got a facsimile here of All American Comics number 16, which actually introduces Alan Scott Green Lantern, sort of coincidentally, that alphabetically speaking, Alan and All are relatively close, and that's from us shortly ago. And then we've got another version. We mentioned this, I believe, in another video. The Justice Society Returns was a series of mostly one-shots that each one-shot had the title of a classic DC series, and each one-shot featured a couple of the JSA heroes. And so this update of All American has Green Lantern and Johnny Thunder in it. Pretty stuff. Then maybe I guess it's safe for work. Okay, don't sue me, but Allie Baggett is Alley Cat. Allie Baggett, it was a Playboy model in the I believe 90s, and she made a deal with Image to have a character created that is in her likeness, and Couldn't tell you what the story is, but some of the covers were of, you know, her photographs of her, and then I think some of the other covers. I don't even know if they had covers that weren't photos of her. And here's issue number 6 of that series, so which was part 3 of The Martyr. So they were making an effort. Let's see. And we go to All Flash. This was, if I remember correctly, they kept trying to cancel Wally West's Flash series and kill him off or do whatever. And then they would bring him back. And so one of the times they brought him back, they had this one shot that sort of showed how he was coming back. And then they would just resume the numbering, the regular numbering on, you know, the regular Flash book. Now, of course, All Flash is the original title of the Flash book from the 1940s that featured Jay Garrick. And so that's this, they used that title for this one shot. All right, then we get into all new, all different Avengers #1 from 2015. We've got some Avengers. They're almost all new. They say they're all new, but they're not completely all new because there's Vision, there's Iron Man, but and some beautiful. You know, if George Perez is my #1. Then Alex Ross, in terms of covers, is my #2. And so he was doing the covers on all these. Some beautiful, beautiful stuff. Mark Waid, one of my favorite writers. So this was good fun. But for the younger heroes, they would not hang around very long because at least Ms. Marvel was told to get out. They didn't want her around anymore. So in issue 5, then we go to issue 6. This is a homage to the earlier, I believe, first appearance of the Vision in the original Avengers, and this is a modernized sort of take on that with his newer look, and of course the newer Avengers there. They're in all new, all different Avengers #6. Then we jump to #10. I'm having to lean over because it's kind of, can't really tell. This is dark purple on black, but yes, of the Avengers heading off into the stars to deal with some menace there. Which I believe on the next cover we find out that menace is Annihilus, or Annihilus, as I used to say when I was a little kid. I'm not even sure it's Annihilus, but dealing with the threat that he's posing here in all new, all different Avengers #11. Then we get a sweet Jane Foster as Thor cover on all new, all different Avengers #15, set during the Civil War II era. Pretty. Then we've got the annual of all new, all different Avengers. So Ms. Marvel was a fan fiction writer, and so she writes an actual fan fiction. Scooch you back a little bit. Writes an actual fan fiction of the Avengers, and so I think we're reading from both perspectives what actually happened and what she says happened. We have Marvel all new, all different Marvel .1, and this is a key of some sort, I think, but I forget what it is a key for. Because these were often, these Marvel .1s were giving you an idea of the direction that the books were going in, so some of the characters in them are, being introduced for the first time here. But I don't think I remember this. This isn't the bigger one. There's another one that has the first appearance of another character, but cute, pretty book there. Then we go to the all new Atom from the mid 2000s at DC. This is the third Atom, the second one after Ray Palmer, and coming out of the pages of Brave New World, we've got Gail Simone and John Byrne doing the writing and art there, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's shown up in a few places, and is currently as of recording is with Ray Palmer in the Justice League Unlimited book. And then we've got another fun cover here. Large, giant, he's small, she's normal sized, and something's gonna get him. And I believe that something is Giganta. So no, not well. I believe Giganta does appear in this series, but that's not her. So we've got the new Atom here dealing with a villain of some sort. It is female. We've got here he is. He's got it going up against some zombies in all new Atom number 9. Ryan Choi. Am I remembering that right? Ryan? Is that his name? Some more Atom versus zombie action here in all new Atom number 10. And then we jump to all new Atom number 17. The Atom teams up with Wonder Woman, and I believe that is on the bag. That's not on the book, whatever that line is. We've got all new Atom number 18, continuing the team up with Wonder Woman. They're apparently not very popular at the moment. That may have something to do with the giant floating head back there. Let's see. And then we have the end of that series. Rick Remender, not my favorite writer. Somebody's turning into a monster, and they're not happy about it, and they're taking it out on Ryan Choi. That's what I'm going to call him, even if that's not right. And then we jump to all new Captain America. This was, I believe, the first ongoing with Sam Wilson as Captain America. So that's very timely as of recording, as we are a month or so out from Captain America Brave New World. And here we have issue number 1, and it goes through issue number 6. Cap is fighting a version of Baron Blood. Baron Blood is classically a sort of 1940s era vampire Nazi, fought by Captain America, the original Captain America, and the Invaders back during World War II. Being a vampire, of course, he's long-lived, there have been more than one person who have taken on the identity of Baron Blood. And also, generally from that period, we've got this all-new Captain America, Fear Him, Captain America, Sam Wilson, teaming up with Ian Rogers. Ian, let's see if I get this straight. Ian is the son of Arnim Zola, who was born in another dimension, which is filled with monsters and stuff. And Ian grows up, and time moves differently. And so Ian grew up there, and then when he winds up coming to the 616 universe, he takes on the identity of Nomad that had been used by Steve Rogers in the past. And they are dealing with a fear-based villain that I believe they're dealing with the Scarecrow and some others in this series. So if you like creepy art, it's got a lot of creepy art. We've got all new Captain America special, Inhuman Error. This was a 3-part, 2 or 3 or 4 part crossover between Captain America and probably all new Inhumans and a Spider-Man book maybe. And it was dealing with a team up with them. Then we get to all new Doop. Doop is a character from the X universe. He's got the nice prominent X on him. He is from the group that was originally the new version of X-Force that became the Ecstatics, and he is. We don't really know much about Doop. We can't really read his word balloons, so you don't really know what he's saying throughout the whole thing. But he was originally the weird alien-looking cameraman that filmed the original that X-Force Ecstatics group everywhere they went for their social media. And here he gets to be on his own, and that it continues through issue 5 with this Infinity cover. I always remember the old Overstreet Price guides calling out Infinity covers when they would show up. You know, which is when you have an image and it has 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 an image. We've got if there's still any Infinity cover collectors out there, you know, you're gonna want all new Doop number 5. Then we get to the sort of the Malibu. Marvel bought Malibu, and the word on the street from again from various sources is that they really just wanted Malibu's coloring techniques. They didn't really care much about their characters, but they did make some effort. This Black September was a big crossover thing. This is like number Infinity. And the Juggernaut, the Black Knight, and maybe some others travel from the regular Marvel universe into the this other universe of Ultras in the Exiles and join this team, which is the all-new Exiles. Of course, when we get to the E's, we'll look at the irregular Exiles. But these are the all-new Exiles. Sienna Blaze, who was a kind of minor X-Men character. I always like that name, Sienna Blaze. And are forming a team and joining up with some folks here in all-new Exiles. And it was 64 pages for only $1.50. Hey. And let's see what we've got. They start... we go through all new Exiles number 4 when they're dealing with Ultra Force. We got Prime, who is sort of a Shazam kind of character. You've got this guy with the claws, who is the claw type character. What are you gonna do? You know, he's got claws. You can figure it out from there. Let's see. It's still only $1.50 at this point. That storyline continues into all new Exiles number 5. Juggernaut is clearly dead, but of course he's not. There was an X-Men villain, sort of, or really an X-Force villain, one of the Mutant Liberation Force. I forget his name, but he's one of the other characters that had jumped into this universe and was on the team with them. That's his little sickle thing. That is this is not the guy from the other guy with their full red mask and blonde hair. That's another guy. This is all new Exiles number 11, which I believe is the final issue of that. Then we go to all new Hawkeye, which goes back to, the story harkens back to his childhood, and tells us some more about when he was a kid in this series. Kind of an interesting art with Perez. I think it's Pere Perez, not George Perez.
But it's got Kate Bishop, and we see the young Hawkeye running away. I believe a lot of this takes place, when at the point when he joins the circus. Then we get to the next all-new Hawkeye series, which takes place more in the future, actually. From a bookend point of view, we've got way adult Kate Bishop catching back up with old man kind of Hawkeye, not to be confused with the Hawkeye from Old Man Logan. But we've got issue 1 of that, and then we've got I think some of this was actually taking place in the present, so we've got the entire sort of lifespan of these characters being told at various times during this all-new Hawkeye. This is an interesting filing from that organizational point of view, because they both came out in the same year, so you can't even use the year to tell them apart, these two all-new Hawkeyes. Then we get to all-new Inhumans, number 1. So let's take a moment to talk about the Inhumans. Classically, as of the 60s, the Inhumans were this hidden race. There was a little city of them. They never left the city, very rarely left the city, and if they did, it was only a brief amount of time. Crystal joined the Fantastic Four for a while. Medusa was a villain for a while, that kind of thing, but they were fairly isolated. And then when we got to around this time, the 2000s, somebody at Marvel said, hey, when we make X-Men movies, we don't make all 100% of that money because of the way the movie deals were set up with Fox. So let's try to find some other characters to make movies of that are going to be a bigger deal than the X-Men. And there was somewhat of an embargo on the X-Men. Now the X-Men never fully went away, but the idea was they were trying to push the Inhumans as the next big thing, so then they could make movies of the Inhumans, and so then they could make 100% of the money that they made off the Inhumans. And so they introduced this idea that there was a cloud of the mist that gave the Inhumans, normally gave their Inhumans their powers, that traveled all through the world, and there were people with a certain genetics, and those people would gain powers. So it was a new way to give random people spontaneous powers, which was similar to the way mutants do. So so they're really pushing the Inhumans in a lot of books at this time, and didn't really work out. So this is an example of that. All new Inhumans, number 1. We've got a team of Inhumans dealing with some stuff here, a crowd. They seem to be kind of upset about that cloud going around the earth. They're blaming them for that. And then we get to number 5 of all new Inhumans. We've got Spider-Man making the obligatory guest appearance in there. Always helpful when you're trying to get your book to sell. It's almost a done deal to have Spider-Man show up. We've got all new Inhumans number 6, still with Spider-Man. These things fell out of the sky, and the Inhumans were trying to figure out where they came from. I remember that part. And then we jump to the last issue of all new Inhumans with all of the various Inhuman characters there with various attitudes about having their picture taken. Then finally, last title, we've got all new Invaders. So the Invaders were the team of superheroes at Marvel during World War II. Now, and that's a little bit of a retcon. They were never called that during the actual World War II, but in the 1970s, writer Roy Thomas introduced a book called The Invaders, and it sort of retroactively established that on a regular basis, Captain America, Submariner, Human Torch, Bucky, and Toro, who was the sidekick to
the Human Torch would get together as the Invaders, and they would go on missions for related to the war. They would stop supervillains, that were in things that were happening in the U.S., that kind of thing. So this was an attempt during the 2000 Marvel Now period to introduce, to say that these characters who, for various reasons, Cap was frozen on ice, Bucky was given some serums and things to keep him around, Submariner is just very long-lived, Human Torch is a android, and ways to keep, they're all still around and kicking, so hey, why wouldn't they still get together and have adventures as the Invaders? So they're all new in the sense that it's a new time, but it's actually the old Invaders. And that their storyline continues into issue number 5 here. Don't especially remember what that was about. That looks like a Kree symbol, though. So this may have something to do with the Kree, the alien race. Then we go to All New Invaders 6. This takes place during the Original Sin crossover. Original Sin was a series where, for one thing, the Watcher is killed, if I remember correctly, and there is a point in the storyline when a bunch of information that people were keeping secret is revealed to lots of people. So people find out things about themselves or that other people did to them that they didn't previously know. So a lot of these crossovers were about people, or the plots were about people finding out secrets that they didn't know. I believe this one must have something to do with maybe Hiroshima, that kind of thing. We've got All New Invaders 6. Then we go to All New Invaders number 10. We've got the Invaders fighting an army of Deathlocks. Deathlock started off as a single character set in the future who was a cyborg soldier, and at various times that kind of general concept has gotten used in various ways, and one version is people just are creating armies of Deathlocks, and that's what appears to be what the Invaders are dealing with there. Here we've got then All New Invaders number 11. Hey, it's the Human Torch versus the Submariner. That's a classic face-off. That's early on in the 1940s. That was a very big deal. The first story they had, where almost like the first crossover, maybe, where they the Human Torch and the Submariner fought each other. So here we have a modern day version of that face-off. And then that culminates, or the whole series ends. We've in All New Invaders number 15. Looks like we've got the originals being joined by some new versions. There was, I believe, Golden Girl was a person who joined the Invaders later, which is another version of a classic 1940s character. Of course, we've got Sam Wilson as Captain America. I forget her name. Joining up with the rest of the All New Invaders. And that's it. Next time we'll do box number 6. Will be all new and all star items, and that'll be a good time. So see you then. Thanks very much. Let me know how it's going. Appreciate it.